So I'm going to record this commentary along with this to let you know what I was thinking while I was flying on this helicopter. And right now, it's like I wanted to right away turn the video on to get the winding of the blades, because it is kind of amazing when you're in there and then they turn it on, and it's the movement of the blades isn't like, it's pretty rigid actually, and so it makes you think, it makes you get a little scared, but it actually is pretty cool. So I think right now I'm probably switching hands or something, trying to get a good comfortable hold on the GoPro so I can just kind of sit there trying to get the blades from below, like from that top window, go over to the side window again. I was really lucky. I was sitting there kind of sweating, thinking I don't want to be sitting in the middle for sure. And I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna do a little bit of phone. So sometimes I just wanted to get blue camo pants, nice dude. But yeah, I really got lucky with a window seat here, especially since I brought a GoPro. And so here we go. And then you realize right away that this is a heliport, or like a terminal, and it's like there's airports, or it's at the airport, I think. So there's airplanes taking off, but you see right here, it's all helicopters in this area. So I don't really know how that works, but it is kind of interesting. Right now, he's kind of just floating up, like, I don't know, was it 5 feet above the ground or something? 5 or 10 feet or something? 20? And it's just like he's flying forward. I don't know, maybe he's going like 40 miles an hour or something. I don't know how slow they can taxi. Maybe he's going more like 5 or 10, because right now he looks like he kind of stopped and he's hovering. So okay, going forward again. It's pretty cool. And then it's pretty scary kind of. Okay, we're going up. Oh, we're leaning. Oh, that was me saying woo, and everybody could hear me in the microphone, but like, you can only hear me, of course, because we can't hear them. Maybe we'll hear their voices, but I don't know if I can hear his voice. Right now, he was talking to the radio towers, and he said he kind of needed to ignore us for the first part, which I'm glad, But you think about it, there were like 5 helicopters taking off at this one takeoff time. And then, like, you have numerous take-on times every single day. So these helicopters are safe. The amount of times they do it and the statistics they have. We would hear much more about accidents if it was a problem. He also said that this was a $4 million helicopter. And so that gave me a feeling of trust in the amount of money that the equipment costs. Does have something to do with it. There we go. There's like airstrips. I don't really know, but if it is, we've got clearance to cross. Yeah, but people tell me I'm brave for doing this, and I guess I just look at the options and say, you know what, that looks like it would be really cool to do. Once in a lifetime experience. Let's go for it, right? Okay, so I'm just like switching windows to look at the skyscape here. neighborhoods and stuff. School, maybe. So it's pretty amazing, right? That this helicopter, these blades are keeping this helicopter afloat. I think it's pretty cool. He might be telling us trivia. Oh, at that point I felt like maybe it was repetitive or something, so I turned my GoPro off. But then I saw this river, and I was like, you know what? I want to get the approach into the mountains, and I want to get this river. I also was afraid my battery was going to run out, but I think I start plugging the battery in at some point to make sure. But I think looking at these rivers from above is really interesting. It's interesting to see where the banks differ and how you can sometimes see how a river evolved, in that it might used to be wider at some point or something. There you can see the mountains in the background, so you can kind of imagine how exciting that is. Thinking we're actually going to fly over that. All right, let's get another view. He's talking about this, which is Lake Mead. He did mention Lake Las Vegas as well. So maybe I'm wrong. Let's just say I'm wrong, and maybe that's Lake Las Vegas right away. Because Lake Mead would be the one that's connected to what? The Hoover Dam. And then we have that to look forward to as well here. Really beautiful view. It's really amazing. Now I take the GoPro and just hold it, and then I try to be there in the moment. And that's why I do the GoPro, so that capturing something is already taken care of, and then I can have my own little version in my mind where I'm really trying to pay attention to the beautiful scenery and the fact that I'm in a helicopter flying out to the Grand Canyon. And then I check the little screen every once in a while just to make sure I didn't get way off on my framing. There was a little reflection. You can see there's the reflection of, I think right now, like that someone's hand or something. But the rest of it is a pretty good view. Getting into the mountains officially here. I don't know what the landscape is on this side, like what that little square is, or what these final pieces of civilization are, but we are moving right into the wilderness and the mountains here. It's pretty amazing to think about, like, stuff that's untouched by humans, maybe. I mean, generically, it's been explored, right? But every nook and cranny, no. You look off into the sky, see the horizon. Oh, there's a plane. There's a shadow of a plane right there. Maybe people noticed it even before I did. That's also another reason why I wanted to make this, is that it's a first reaction video. This is the first time I'm watching the video. Other than uploading it, I guess. Quick little view. Not sure what other trivia there is. He did tell us some good stuff, and I'll repeat that as I remember it. But right now I just think about the ruggedness and the desolate environment which this is. It's like desert mountain. So dry, like no plants. This one looks a lot bigger, and I think this is Lake Mead. I believe it's the largest reservoir in America, man-made reservoir. That's just what I saw on a video. That definitely could have changed by now. But it's really big, and it's the fact that we redirected the Colorado River with the Hoover Dam and pushed that water into Lake Mead. It's interesting if you think about it. Lake Mead, even though we're not looking at it, if you picture it, I guess it buried old Native American settlements, and it buried maybe some archaeological sites and evidence, maybe graves, stuff like that, where they weren't able to really clear out everything before the water got and rose up. So kind of interesting to think about. All right here, imagine that little structure out there. What is that? And who lives there? And what purpose does that serve? Maybe it's... I'm not even going to start guessing, but it's pretty cool. Over there, I think he said that city, that is a city all the way out there. There's something special about it, where I believe that's Boulder City. And then I think that is the city where, since they were building the dam, they had so many workers that needed a place to stay, essentially. And so they built that city, or they stayed in that city, Boulder City. And it got real popular, but there's no gambling in Boulder City. And so they still do that today, enforce no gambling. I hope I'm right about that being Boulder City, because then we're going to be coming up around on the Hoover Dam pretty soon here. Yeah. Oh, am I pointing the camera to try to get a view of the Hoover Dam? It's a little bright. Yeah, see how small that... We're way up in the air. Look at how small that looks. We are so far up in the air, man. Whoa. Wow. Yeah, and he started to turn, and I was fantastic. We're at a really big angle there. And it's... I'll be honest, that's where it gets a little bit adrenaline rush. Oh, wow, look at this. Look at that. Look at the bridge that is more of a recent build. I guess when I went there, 2009, the bridge would have been half done, and we would have witnessed some big thing sticking out on the edge. But now, look at that. That's complete, and that's completing the maybe the I-14. It's an interstate project. And now people don't have to cross the Hoover Dam to get from Nevada to Arizona, or vice versa. The Hoover Dam splits, and it's at one part of the year, it's 1 hour different on one side of the dam versus the other. And then on the other part of the year, they're the same, because one state doesn't do daylight savings time. And so there's some curious, cool stuff about the Hoover Dam that I found out. I heard this thing that maybe is true, that while they're pouring concrete, maybe construction workers fell in, and maybe there are still the bodies that are in the concrete because they just couldn't get them out. I heard amazing stuff like the government gave like 7 companies the opportunity to get this done as fast as possible, and then maybe it was an estimate of 7 years, and then they got it done in 2 years, something to that effect. Like, if people watch this and they know the true facts and my numbers are off, please put it in the comments. But it's just interesting stuff that I heard. I didn't get to go further, but all right, so now we're just continuing to fly, right? The Hoover Dam is not the end destination of this adventure, and I'm smiling really big because when I set out to visit Las Vegas this time, I said I want to go to see the Grand Canyon, and it was like, do I take an 11-hour, 12-hour bus tour, or do I do the helicopter, and it's a 45-minute flight? And so I'm smiling because I'm looking at this adventure and like, look at this landscape. Like, that flyover of the Hoover Dam was epic. I feel like I talked about nonsense and then I got to the good facts and stuff right afterwards. But I should have talked about how immensely beautiful that was. And also this, like, what makes me excited coming up is like how close the mountain is to the helicopter. And I know that some people might be scared, but I just really trust that they know what they're doing and that they've done so many tours day after day after day after day. So they're like, have a sensor that they're definitely paying attention to. They're not going to be hitting that. But unless a gust of wind comes on, right here, you see, like, we're getting close, and he's flying right over the top of this. You can almost see, like, are those bushes? Are those trees? Are those rocks? What, like, is it all rock? And, like, you're curious about that, and it's like, or is it dry desert bushes? I think it's a bunch of little dry desert bushes. And there we go. That was a really good mountain flyover. He mentioned this thing is a old volcano, or it's not like actually a full volcano. It's where the magma like pushed under the earth and tried to escape the earth at this point, when the volcano is actually over to the left. And so he said that was like evidence of this mini burst type of action. But he showed us a dormant volcano, and maybe I didn't move the camera over because I knew I couldn't get a good view, but he did mention that. Yeah, this stuff like almost looks like more volcanic, so this could be runoff or something eroded that. But nothing like what's coming up. Like, that's a little mini canyon. Oh, look at the other helicopter. Cool. Look at that helicopter flying over that mini canyon. That's like looking at us in the future flying into the Grand Canyon. Look at the mountains all the way in the background. and then like the skyline, and then the blue. Like, what would those mountains be? Is that Sierra Nevada mountains or something? Like, yeah, let me know if you know in the comments. I'm a little directionally challenged, I'll be honest. Oh, we're gonna go maybe, what are we looking at? Lake Mead still? It's like, is that still, that is impressively big. If we're still not past Lake Mead, it's really big. Let me plug in. Gotta plug in this phone. Good, it didn't die. Alright, then it gets a little more deserty, like I don't know exactly what that mountain range is called. Maybe he told us, but that didn't stick in my mind. But this, suddenly it gets flat. It's kind of cool to think about. Look at that helicopter all the way over there. See here, like the people in the front seat could probably see if we were close or anything. Like, he talked about seeing the rim of the Grand Canyon, and I didn't see that with my view from the side. But I think that when he says it, I'm going to move the camera over to try to capture it. So we probably aren't there yet. He said some stuff about how at this point the helicopter would be going 120 miles per hour. And he said it like how many knots that was. But then he repeated it in 120 miles per hour. So that is what I remember. And it was a pretty peaceful ride, to be honest. Okay, let's see if we can see like the rim. You know, is that it? Does it like, what's that blue? Well, that's like Lake Mead, I would guess, still. Unless I'm wrong and like Lake Mead was way long ago and that's Lake Las Vegas. Sorry, I maybe should have even researched right before making this, but what's fun is we can all talk about it in the comments if you want, and talk about what questions you have and how beautiful this is and how amazing it is now to relive it. When you're in the moment, you're like in the moment, you're thinking differently, just absorbing it, and now this is a great way to reflect on it. So we got this light, and then the dark, and then the even darker. And it makes sense how the darkness would be rained on, would wear away down to be the darker part, and then it looks like it's flowing down into the white part. Again, think about how desolate this is and how unexplored some of these areas are. That's quite amazing to think about. You know, animals survive, and then there's like different species that evolve. Right here, I'm guessing that maybe I'm trying to plug the battery in right now. So I'm getting nervous. I just wanted to feel really relaxed, knowing that it was completely taken care of. Yep, there was the little USB in the corner. And you can hear it actually click, click. Yeah, I'm like totally plugging the battery in. But the battery's dead. Here we go to another body of water. I'm sorry to say I don't know for sure what body of water this is. Because, I mean, we really flew over Hoover Dam a long time ago. It's like thinking about the structures out here, who works there, who goes and accesses that. They might have even talked about this little area over here. Wondering what that is, if it's a small city. And something about it like being, maybe it's the only dock, because we can't see the other edges. Now this has turned into a guessing game where I don't actually know the trivia behind the lake, but I keep remembering that Lake Las Vegas and then Lake Mead. So I think Lake Las Vegas was closer than Lake Mead. But it's in Lake Mead is a reservoir. So, I mean, like I said, if this is Lake Mead and it filled up like all the way out here, again, that's impressive. We've been flying over this lake for 10 minutes, man. Okay, I think I see what he's talking about. Like up on the left, you can kind of see that maybe it drops off. It almost seems like there's 1, 2, 3 tiers. The skyline, which is like mountains in the background. Then like a little cliff, which maybe could be like another little part of the other end of the canyon, possibly. And then right there's the rim. Boy, if that's it, that's so exciting to re-experience, because when he said that, I didn't really get what he was talking about. Oh, you heard me just go, oh yeah. That's because I think I put it all together. And right there, like, get ready. We're going to fly down into the Grand Canyon in just a little bit here. These are really cool, like, plateau shapes here. It's really interesting how it's so flat on top, and then erosion and whatnot causing that whole mountainside thing. Helicopter blades spinning. Pretty amazing. No, this is still a body of water, so I don't know if it's what I was thinking yet, to be honest. Here's another idea, though, where we're so close to that mountaintop. Yeah, this, like, isn't the river. This isn't the size of the river that's all the way down in the canyon. This is, like, way bigger, so flying over Lake Mead, I have to say, is amazing. It's very big. But it's still amazing to think about, because it's actually like they're running out of water, I guess, and they're trying to find other ways instead of having that water reservoir be reliant only on that. They're finding other ways. California is looking into recycling water, and there's some other methods that like Texas is looking into, or maybe it's Arizona. Forgot what it was. Water reclamation or something. But this is what happens. We're overpopulating the earth. Using too much water. Okay, now let's talk about this ridge idea again. To the left, we have a flat line and then a flat plateau like land area. And then like pretty soon on that flat plateau land area, there's going to be a drop off. And then that's going to be the Grand Canyon. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Okay, flat area, right? There's even a road. You can see a road. Is that how I remember it? Does it drop off or does it go up and then down? Okay, he's telling us something. He's saying maybe that you can see the rim of the Grand Canyon. Nevertheless, it's coming up soon here. Yeah! That's how I felt. Wonder what made me say, oh yeah, before. Like, you know, there's been a lot of stuff in between. Nope, never mind. You see this? You see this? You see this? Right there's the rim. Right there, and then there's that river. Yeah, he's going, if that's it, yeah, that's it. If that's it, he's going safely over that. Man, think about that water carving down. Is that it though, or is that just some other thing? Is that like the medium canyon? Because then you see these ridge lines coming up of all that wear. It might be like up, down in there. You know, I'm sorry to say, I don't remember what he called that. And what, if that's runoff. Maybe that is what he said. There's something about that aspect. But like, no. Coming up is the more epic view. Oh my gosh. It just keeps building to being so massive and so big. He did say there's a lot of different theories about how the Grand Canyon was created. You know, the big scientific theory is the Colorado River used to be really, really, really bigger, and it carved it down. And then if I'm wrong about that, if it's a different river, please correct me, but the river wore it all the way down. But then what about this side of the canyon is another idea. Another idea is religious ideas, and then the final idea was aliens. Oh, look at how close we are to the top of that. Oh my gosh. Look at how vast this is. Whoa. Man, it's just weaving in and out, carving all of this down. Oh my gosh. Oh, there we go. That was just a little side river or a little low point or something. Because now we got this huge, like, look up at the top rather than at the river. And then you see how wide the top of it is. Think about the water being all the way out, all the way up there. And then, you know, billions of years, the water would get lower. Finally, it all naturally is happening with which rocks crumble easier, and just, that's what I kind of think is more that it does look worn away. But think about if the water was all the way up there. And then some people, I mean, you can argue some points. Why isn't there beaches or something, maybe? Whoa, wow. Look how big that is. How tall that is. Mind-blowing. I'm just kind of taking a moment because it's so huge. I mean, I thought those little things before were anything to remember. Like, this is the Grand Canyon. And it's funny because I don't have a vivid picture of this in my mind, so I'm really glad I videotaped this. I feel like maybe I have more of a vivid memory of the landing and what we did while we hung out and while we were landed. But this is so majestic and so amazing that I actually flew up here. Like, imagine standing up on that little ridge. We're gonna do something a little bit less than that. There's some land here that the helicopters rent from, and that there's some type of mutually beneficial situation where they're allowed to land on these private bluffs in the Grand Canyon. And it's not all the way at the top. We landed like down on a bluff down in the middle. And I think that moment is approaching, because like I can see that ground. That's just a little peak, little rock peak. But we're getting lower into the Grand Canyon. We don't see this huge, majestic view. We're seeing the sediment layers. And we're down actually flying inside the Grand Canyon right now. Look at the bottom part. Never mind about the beaches. I mean, look at that. That's like a slow formed rock beach. So it kind of just seems like maybe the erosion was like a certain way with the dark rock, and then the erosion went a different way with that lighter rock. Oh, here's some flat areas. I think I see helicopters, and I feel like I remember seeing the 3 helicopters. I think those were helicopters right there. I could be wrong. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Oh, he's going at an angle. He's going at an angle. Man. Here's where you want to trust the pilot a lot. You want to trust their experience. Trust that they are capable, not going to mess up. And they do it every day, multiple flights a day, so I wasn't worried. There we go. There's a helicopter. Oh, there's a little marker. How he knew where to land. Okay, and then this is like this flatter area, like a little bit of land inside the Grand Canyon to land on. And there's another helicopter, see? And then I wanted to get all the way the nice winding down of the blades. And he even says it. He's like, you know, I think he said something to us. He's like, gotta wait for the blades to... The headphones were like really hot. It was a very hot day, like 105, 106. But it was air conditioned and I was fine. Drank water, I was fine. Oh, there comes another helicopter. I felt special because there were 2 other helicopters, 3 that landed over there, and we had like our own little area. Here, let's see if we hear him say anything. Okay, and then I remember turning the camera off a little earlier than I wanted. I don't think I got him, like, opening the door. But yeah, it was an amazing feeling. And then, hey, if you'd really like this, subscribe and give it a like. And then I'm going to put the video of us hanging out on this bluff up as a separate... Oh. I want to hear him talking. But yeah.
You guys warm enough yet?
See how they're rigid? They're kind of more rigid than you'd think, right?
I'll the doors for you.
Have a great day, everybody. Please subscribe. I'll see you with some more adventures.
I'm going to go grab a stool for you, ma'am, to get out a little easier.
Okay, thank you.
Stool right over here.
Oh, there's one under that table.
Yeah, that helped me too because my knee hurt.